Mr. O'Toole knows he's in trouble and has already triggered a campaign review. Check this out.
We had losses or we fell slightly short from where we needed to be. That is exactly why I've already started the process of having a review.
So, can he survive the internal debate? And which direction will the Conservative Party go now? Let's find out. Joining me now is Conservative MP Michelle Rempel Garner, who has just won another election, and congratulations to you. Look, Mr. O'Toole campaigned on a renewed, moderate Conservative Party, said we're not your dad's party, it was less Stephen Harper and more Brian Mulroney. But he had promised in exchange for doing that there'd be a breakthrough in Quebec and a breakthrough in Ontario. He failed to do that. He didn't actually do even as well as Andrew Scheer. What went wrong?
Well, I would say what went right. I knocked thousands of doors. Nobody wanted to be in this election. And I mean, you've had a lot of people on your show, Evan, 6 weeks ago who, it was a walk-away majority, foregone conclusion for the Liberals. And the fact is that we have held Justin Trudeau to a minority. We have that ability to be a strong opposition in Parliament, and we've, elected more women. I am encouraged that Mr. O'Toole has announced, as he said, that campaign review. It's something I certainly will be taking part in. But, what I heard from my community, now that I'm reelected, I have to put the needs of my constituents first. I think everybody wants stability. Nobody wanted an election. And I want my focus to be on getting Parliament back to work to deal with important issues like Afghanistan, vaccine hesitancy, and that's
but I understand that
our priorities have to be.
And I guess that's the message of Canadians. But let me just drill back down on the message. I mean, I understand if you want to measure it, well, we held him to a minority. Mr. O'Toole did not win a single seat. He lost seats in Alberta, as you know. A lot of people, Harper conservatives, and I know you were elected under the Harper government, but they said to us, like you just saw Jenny Byrne, they were betrayed on the, he ran as a true blue conservative. He was, during the leadership race, he said no to a carbon tax, then he introduced a carbon tax, he flip-flopped on guns. All that was in order to break through in Ontario and Quebec. It didn't happen. So like, introspectively, and you've said they need a deep rethink, what needs to be rethought about the strategy? Does he keep tacking to the center, or do they go back to the right?
Yeah, well, you just closed your last question with the words, I guess that's the message to Canadians. And that's who I'm talking about. I'm not talking to pundits. I need to ensure that for my constituents, we have a clear path forward out of the pandemic and also out of the economic crisis that our country is in right now. We need to get back to work. Yes, we're going to have a parliamentary or a campaign review. I am looking forward to that. I'm not a shrinking violet. I will put my 2 cents on the table to make sure that our party.
But what is that? So what is it? Like center, stay the course, or go back? Like that's what I'm asking you.
That's the purpose of a review, is to have that conversation. I mean, Justin Trudeau has not been trotted out to ask why he didn't get his majority that was promised. Maybe you're going to do that. You certainly don't see his caucus having, these types of conversations in the news.
You do have someone like Mr. Chen who's got a petition with over 2,000 signatures saying Mr. O'Toole betrayed the party. And he did take, look, he rebranded the party. Joe Oliver. I mean, these are people that are not, small figures in the Conservative Party. They don't like the direction it's going. So what's your answer to Mr. Chen and others?
They are entitled to their opinion. Their contributions to the party are valued, and they have a review process to be part of, as I will. They have their opinions and I have mine. I have a responsibility to about 120,000 Canadians to come up with significant policy solutions for a major crisis. That's where my focus has to be, regardless of all of this stuff, right? It would be so easy to get sucked into this sort of a conversation with you and others nationally, but the message has to be, we are fighting for Canadians, and we are going to make sure that there is stability and unity, even across party lines.
Okay, let's talk about some of the issues then. Based on the election results, it's clear about 65% of Canadians voted for parties who supported vaccine passports, mandatory vaccine for candidates. Even Ontario Premier Doug Ford came around to the passport. All his candidates will be vaccinated in next year's provincial election. Was Mr. O'Toole wrong on that issue, and will he change his position now after the election? He's listened to it, didn't work. Does he change his view on that?
Well, I think that if we hadn't had an election this summer, this is, addressing the concern of vaccine hesitancy and how to address, what I think is there's so many different reasons people would give as to why they are not getting vaccinated. That's work we should have been doing, and I'm looking forward to getting back to that soon. I think that it's very important for people to get vaccinated. Our party has been at the front of pushing for the government to procure vaccines and encouraging people to do that. And we're not going to deviate from that message. What we are going to ensure is that the divisive, unnecessary rhetoric that was coming out of the Trudeau Liberals during the campaign does not continue to hamper vaccination efforts.
But just to be fair, but most Canadians say that the division was on in your party, that you didn't support mandatory vaccinations for all your candidates or for planes, buses, and trains. Now the NDP supported that, the Liberals supported that. They have enough votes to get a majority government there. So I'm just trying to ask, because does Mr. O'Toole change his view on that in the midst of this fourth wave?
This is the one time where we'll speak on behalf of our party leader. Our party leader strongly believes everyone should be vaccinated. Where we differ from the Liberals is, Justin Trudeau called unvaccinated Canadians names for 6 weeks. Should everybody be vaccinated? Yes, people should be getting vaccinated. But we also have a public policy role to play to look at reasons why people aren't doing that, and then providing support to the provinces.
And you support Erin O'Toole staying on board as leader?
I do.
Okay. I'll leave it there. Michelle Rempel Garner, congrats on your win, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.